Welcome back, everybody, to the Teen Titans Retrospective, going through every episode of the original Teen Titans animated series. Today, we're taking a look at the furry episode, so it's gonna get pretty sexy. Season 3, Episode 11, Bunny Raven, written by Louis Hirschhorn and Joel Selner, directed by Ben Jones. The full title of this one is Bunny Raven, or How to Make a Titananimal Dissapear. The longest title of any episode of the series. We're probably just going to refer to it as Bunny Raven, because that's simple. You get it. But also I want to point out that it's Titan Animal, like one word. Shouldn't it be Titanimal? Come on, what are you doing? Anyways, we have the Japanese theme this week, which means it's going to be pretty silly, and indeed it is. Plot-wise, not a whole lot to this one. Titans are fighting Mumbo, voiced wonderfully by Tom Kenny, and he's just having a blast, hamming it up as this very goofy villain, and then he uses his whatever vague magic abilities he has to suck all the Titans into his hat. And then a bunch of silly nonsense happens. The main thing that happens is that he transforms all the Titans into animals. He transforms Raven into a bunny, thus the title. The rest of the Titans also get changed into animals, except for Beast Boy, which they make a joke out of. He tries to transform Beast Boy, but because that's already Beast Boy's powers, he just is able to change back. So instead he changes him into a sexy lamp. Did I mention this is one of the hottest episodes of the show? And the Titans are just kind of trapped in this weird pocket dimension that exists within Mumbo's magic hat, and a bunch of silly shenanigans happen. So I think what they're going for with this one is sort of an Alice in Wonderland type motif. Raven gets transformed into a white rabbit, and then she gets like sucked into a hole, and then it's just nonsense for the rest of the episode. Much like Alice in Wonderland. They go down a rabbit hole, and then a bunch of silly stuff happens, and then eventually she gets out, and that's the story. Because we're doing stuff with, like, magicians, we also have a bunch of, like, magician iconography. There's a bunch of, like, playing cards going on. We even have, like, somewhat sentient playing card people. So that feels very Alice in Wonderland as well. And silly things happen. Like, it's one of those episodes. Basically, if you're up for a silly, wacky time with a bunch of silly animation and tons of visual jokes, and you like Tom Kenny, check this one out. Otherwise, like, plot-wise, major overarching story, not a whole lot to this one. Though I do think it is pretty fun. There's a lot of visual jokes I really like. There's an ongoing gag with Beast Boy where, because he's the only one not changed into an animal because that's already his thing, so he instead is able to change between different inanimate objects. So he'll turn into like a phone or like a record player or something to like try to speak to the other Titans and be like, help me. The main thing is that like they're in this weird pocket dimension where everyone is Mumbo, and he's putting on like a big magician show, and the crowd is all Mumbo, and it's just silly and wacky. He does a musical number, which is pretty fun. With just a wave of my magic wand, I'm master of your fate. They have to fight a master hand and a crazy hand, so that's pretty silly. One of the jokes that kept getting me is there's like randomly some Muppet references for reasons. Oh, I'm blanking on their names. Waldorf and the other one. I'm gonna have to look this up. I want to call them Hitchcock and Scully. That's not it. Okay, I'm looking it up. I should know this. I've seen all the Muppet things. I'm a Muppet boy. Statler and Waldorf. There's a Statler and Waldorf Mumbo at the like, what do you call that? The box seats? The balcony? I don't know. And they're like making jokes. And then they like cut backstage to where Mumbo's trying to get ready. And they have like a little puppet Mumbo come out and be like, oh, we gotta get ready for the show. And it made me laugh every moment that this weird Muppet Mumbo was on screen. I don't really understand why it's there. For some reason, there's some Muppet references in this episode. I don't know, it's very silly. Eventually, Raven figures out a way to trick Mumbo. They like paint themselves to look exactly like the background of the stage, so when the cages come up on stage, they appear empty. I guess the idea is it's like we gotta just embrace wacky Looney Tunes logic in order to like defeat Mumbo. We have to play by his weird wacky rules, and then that tricks him and he opens the cage and then they get out, and then that's how they break out of the hat. I don't know. That's basically the episode. It's very silly, but it's pretty fun. I like Mumbo as a villain. He's pretty entertaining. As a kid, I remember sometimes being frustrated with these type of episodes where it's just like pure silly cartoon nonsense, because it often sort of feels like the Titans get nerfed, kind of. They basically like are just completely ineffectual at defeating a villain for the majority of the episode. The villain just has insane magic cartoon powers and cannot be stopped by any means until they can at the very end of the episode. And like, that's it. There's not really anything more to it. This one has a bit of that for sure, but at the same time, I'm kind of all right with there being a very silly episode every once in a while. And especially when it's like this, where it's like, we're just gonna go like all the way with a really stupid idea. If we eventually get around to talking about Teen Titans Go, this is the type of episode that I'll call back to, where like part of the conceit of Titans Go was making it more silly and more cartoony. And it's like, have you seen the original show? This show is fucking bananas. What are you talking about? So I don't know. It's a fun episode, but it probably won't like stick with you in the long run. So that's it. I don't know. Bunny Raven. Raven is a bunny. That's this one. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, we're going through every episode of the original Teen Titans, week by week, episode by episode. So tune in next week for the finale, the season finale. We're already there, so that'll be a more important episode. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.